So guys, that's Shaw Fitness. I want to show you how to do a quick and affordable, healthy grocery shop. So the first thing to get through to you is to stay away from the inner aisles. There might be a few things you need, like high quality salt like Celtic or Baja Gold salt, which I'll show you. But there should only be a few things you grab in the inner aisles. Over 90% of the stuff in the inner aisles are processed junk. All right, we want to stay, if you just stick to the rule of the outside perimeter, all right, then and just stick to Whole Foods, that's your main thing. But the first thing we always start with, the most healthy thing you can eat, and the bulk of your groceries should be high quality meats. So I'm going to turn around and show you. All of this, no good. All right, because those are, all that beef and meats are grain fed instead of grass fed. So what you're going to want is grass fed. You can get a 3-pack here, and it is marked down all the way, instead of the $8.27 per pound, you get a 3-pack, and it's right under $6 a pound. That's almost the same price as the junk grain-fed, antibiotic, hormone-fed beef. So price is not an excuse. All right, high-quality grass-fed beef. All right, any meat you can grab, steaks in particular. We're gonna grab some of these grass-fed steaks, and so we'll do the meats, which are most important, and then we'll go to your healthy fats, which are next most important, and then your carbohydrate sources. All right, now moving on to bacon. I am a big proponent of not eating pork because of parasites. It's the reason every ancient religious text warns you about eating pork. The toxins are stored in the meat, primarily the fat, but it's all through it. So pork's a very unclean animal, but if you're gonna do it, and I just use a little bit of bacon to put in my eggs for extra protein and flavor, but turn you around, all that bacon and sausage is full of nitrates. What you want to do is come over here, see, nitrate free. That's what you're looking for in your bacon. All right, so here's the kefir I'm going to show you. Right here, you got 10 grams of protein per serving. There's per cup. There's 4 in there, so just one of these has 40 grams of protein. So and it also has your active and live probiotic cultures, as you can see here, which one's 50 billion CFUs. That's in probiotic supplements, all right? But kefir is fermented yogurt, basically. So it's much better for your gut health, and just one of these gets you your 40 grams per setting. And it's good to mix with your protein shakes and water, and to thicken it up and flavor it if you're using unflavored or a mild flavor, and just some water and ice. Never use milk. All right, guys, so you know I'm big on keeping dairy out of your diet. All right, dairy is no good for you. There's no other mammal or animal in the species that drinks another animal's milk. All right, if you're going to drink milk, the best source is breast milk. All right, but if you're going to drink milk, the main thing to know is that 99% of the milk in the stores is pasteurized, homogenized, and it's from the A1 cow, which is the black and white cow, and that's just terrible for you. All right, we do not have the digestive enzymes to break down that particular type of lactose, not to mention the homogenized, pasteurized, all the processing. All right, so you need to get the A2 milk from the brown and white cow. Best case scenario is to go get raw milk. Find a local farmer that has it. If not, you can get it in the store. The problem we're having here, which I'm going to show you, is we have the A2 milk, and that's fine in a pinch, but you want it grass-fed. So we've got grass-fed, but it's not A2. All right, so you want the A2 that's grass-fed until you get access to raw milk. All right, guys. So if you see my last video, if not, I recommend go checking it out. But I'm very big on eggs. My first meal, I eat between 12 and 8 p.m. for intermittent fasting. My first meal at noon, unless I'm going to have a morning workout, I may have it at 10 and then work out, and I'll just cut instead of 10 to 8, I'll do 12 to 8, I'll do like 10 to 6 to keep me in that 16-hour fasting window for autophagy and other reasons. But bringing back eggs, what you want to look for is free range, no antibiotics, no hormones. They should be very dark brown with very dark yolk, but I recommend finding local ones or getting chickens of your own. But yeah, free range, vegetarian fed, so they're not grain fed. And also, it's going to be the same for your chicken. Make sure it's organic, no hormones or steroids or antibiotics, and that way they're not grain fed either. And then butter, make sure you use grass-fed butter only. All right, Kerrygold is one of the most popular brands. You can find it anywhere. So there we go. Chicken and eggs should always be antibiotic, hormone-free, grass-fed, and free range. All right, you can see it in the yolks. Instead of being yellow, they'll be dark orange. But try to support your local farmers. All right, guys, I know a lot of y'all aren't going to like this, but you know my deal with coffee and caffeine. If you're disciplined enough and you're healthy enough to wake up, drink you 32 ounces of water with a high quality salt like Celtic or Baja Gold salt, and wait 2 hours, at least an hour, you really need 2 hours before you consume any caffeine, because it messes up your cortisol, which messes up your circadian rhythm, which messes up your melatonin and deep REM sleep at night. I can make a whole video on this. All right, so I don't recommend drinking caffeine because you need to get to the bottom of what's so wrong with your diet, movement, rest, lifestyle that's making you so lethargic that you feel like you need caffeine. All right, nothing wrong with having 1 cup a day if you do it the way I said. But if you're gonna, Bulletproof is the best version. You want to make sure it's organic coffee only because they found mold in all the main brands. And so Bulletproof coffee is the best, and they also have the best additives. All right, they have healthy fats, MCT oils. You can even do it yourself with a coconut oil or a high brain octane by Dave Osprey, who made Bulletproof coffee. Look that up. He got it from the Tibetan monks. They've been adding fats to caffeine for years because it makes it last longer without the crash. So you only need 1 cup. So no more than 1 cup a day if you're healthy enough to drink it. But I want to get to creamers. Remember, Dave Osprey's Bulletproof has the best creamers and additives. But the main mistake people make, besides consuming the caffeine, which is a vasoconstrictor, which restricts your blood flow and your oxygen flow, so you should definitely don't want it around exercise time. It's defeating the purpose. All right, but I want to turn you. So a lot of people get this. You turn around and look at the ingredients. Nothing but oils, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, canola oil. Look, just all these harmful ingredients. All right, so instead, if you're not going to do the Dave Ospreys, and you're just going to go to a local store, you can get an organic version, which, if you look back here, no oils. All right, so that is the best way to go about it. And yeah, see that? Big difference. All right, guys. So you heard me mention the most important thing you can do. Your body's made up of 72% water, ironically, just like the Earth. Interesting how connected we are. All right, but water is not hydration. Water with electrolytes and minerals is hydration. And the water that, you know, if you don't filter your own water, or you don't buy a really good one like Fiji that's in a BPA-free bottle, you really need to get a good water filtering. There's charcoal versions and even much better ones. Look up Paul Check. All right, but anyway, I just want to show you, you have to add a high quality salt. Salt all your food to taste, assuming you're healthy, have healthy taste buds, you'll know. But salt is not a problem. The studies are from highly processed, harmful foods full of seed oils like fast food, all right? That's high sodium processed foods, not salt, all right? But what you want here, you see all these junk salts, you know, regular, you know, table salts and stuff. Then there's pink Himalayan that's popular, but no, they're a little bit contaminated sometimes. The best, I go with Celtic sea salt, but honestly, Baja Gold off the coast of California is just as nutrient dense. Not only do they have all your electrolytes, but they have over 60 to 80 essential minerals. All the trace minerals you need are in it, all right? So make sure you salt all your food to taste. Put a little bit of salt in your water, especially when you first wake up, to mineralize the body and get your electrolytes and rehydrate after dehydrating over the night. And another key pre-workout tip is to take a tablespoon of sea salt and before you work out, and I'm telling you, you'll get a better pump from that than any over-the-counter pre-workout. All right, guys, so we got our meats, our eggs, which is what we predominantly eat, all right? And the next big thing is white jasmine rice. If you like basmati, that's fine. Just make sure it's organic so that it's not sprayed with folic acid. And you can get, rice is cheap, you can get a big bag here, but you can go to Costco and literally get a big 80-pound bag that goes up to my waist for 20 bucks, all right? I mean, we bought it 4 or 5 years ago, and I have white rice almost every day, and we still have it, plus a couple others for storage, you know, for the coming economic collapse and apocalypse, AI apocalypse and all that. So very good to go to Costco. I'm just grabbing a few things here at Walmart, but I generally bulk shop between local farmers, produce, and then Costco. But I am grabbing some asparagus because it actually has organic for a change. Asparagus is one of my favorite vegetables. It's a really good diuretic. So if you have problems with water retention, but it's also good just to clean the system out. So switch, and yep, so that's one of my favorite veggies. That and organic green beans. All right, guys, and the total for eating all organic, grass-fed, free-range, the highest quality of food, feeding myself, my wife, my stepson, a family of 3, and my pet Rocco, the bull terrier, which I'll link a picture. She is a food addict. The addiction runs in my genes, even down to my dog, joking aside. But I feed her grass-fed beef, free-range egg, frozen organic blueberries when I don't get them wild, and a few other things. But so she eats real food too, so that you could really count it as a 4th person. 4 people, and the total is 147. All right, not bad considering you're eating all organic for 4 people. Much cheaper than a lot of y'all are spending for junk food that you're poisoning yourself with, and that's not even again all the medical bills it's going to cost you. So I look at this as a return on investment. Because I eat so healthy, I have never had a health issue. I have never had to go to a medical doctor. I am my own doctor. Once you know your 4 doctors, then look up Paul Check for my videos on it. You can take care of yourself. Remember, in a world that wants you dependent on a sick care system and wants to keep you sick and, you know, uneducated, the most revolutionary act you can do is become happy, healthy, and self-sustained by becoming your own doctor and health practitioner. And just remember, this is a real simple litmus test to tell the analogy I always try to use to you. It's one of the great gems. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. This is not trivial, all right? So, returning the shopping cart. May not seem like a big deal to you. Forget all, you know, leaving it to someone else to do. They're paid to do it. No, it's about you. All right, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And if you can't have integrity and do the right thing on the simplest things and build upon that, you will never get disciplined and become successful with the big things. All right, and that's not an overstatement. Seriously, it means so much more than you think. All right, do all the small tasks perfectly. That's why the military is so focused on making your bed so neatly and perfectly, and hygiene and all that. All right, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And if you can master the simple task, it becomes habitual to do everything perfectly as possible. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Drop a like and comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you have any questions about anything I mentioned in this video about food or alternatives, if you have some allergies or anything. And remember, if you mentioned this video, I'm doing a 50% off all my online and in-person fitness, nutrition, lifestyle coaching services. 50% off. So just message me, contacts in my description. You can find me on any socials. Message me on Facebook, email me at dustysharpfitnesscoaching@gmail.com or IG.